Hello everybody, it's Jill with Simply Made Unique by Jill, and welcome back. Today we're going to do part 2 of my little thrift store bookcase makeover. In part 1 we covered cleaning using either White Lightning by Dixie Belle or TSP, and we also primed, and I happen to use Wise Owl primer because I wanted to make sure I had an adhesion property on this piece, as well as it was a light pine color, so I'm sure it was going to be bleed through when I'm using a light color to paint on it. So again, I use products that I like, but you can of course use any products that work for you. There's lots of products on the market, and just because I like them and love them, I'm going to pass on that recommendation to you, but you have to find what you like as well. So today we're going to lay some base paint down, and we're going to get some of the backboard painted in different colors, and then we'll be ready for accent and detail. Okay, let's get started. We're all primed up and ready, so we're going to jump right in. Now we're going to move on to our base coat. I like a synthetic brush about this size. This one's from Paint Pixie. I also use Dixie Belle's Savannah Mist as a light blue base color on my bookcase. I think it's going to be adorable. See how gentle and soft this color is? I think it's just going to be perfect. You're also going to need a mister bottle. Oh, you can see I'm always afraid of spraying myself in the face. This helps you move a water-based paint and also keeps your brush and your paint moving nicely. So we're going to mix it up really good because I haven't used this color in a while, and then we're going to hop right on to our first coat. You want to make sure your paint is mixed. That's very important because it does settle a bit while it's sitting. I'm going to lightly mist my brush to get it damp, and I'm also going to mist my piece of furniture once I get my paint on my brush. This helps a water-based chalk paint move on your piece of furniture. Again, you could spray the paint and a tiny bit on your furniture. This just helps you get the paint down. Even strokes, don't work too hard, just like with when we went over the sealer in the last video. You're going to move along your piece, making sure that you cover as best as possible without overworking the paint. You're always going to do a second coat, so you don't have to worry about it being full 100% coverage. Actually, the first coats usually look pretty awful to me, but the second coat goes on like butter. Now that we've gotten a base coat on here, just one, we haven't done the back yet. I want to get another base coat on here in about an hour, and then we'll fill in the back. So you're going to let this dry for about an hour, and just be patient. You don't want to rush it, and then we'll sand in between, get a second coat on, then we'll hop on over to details. See you in a sec. Now, just like in between our primer, we're going to lightly sand with a 220 grit sandpaper. This gets rid of that chalky feel and gives you a nice smooth finish for coat 2. Now we're going to move on to our second coat. Now that our paint is all smooth from our sanding in between the coats, we're going to go on to a second coat. Again, just evenly gliding with a damp brush and a tiny bit of paint and some water to move your paint. You're going to see it fill in much nicer this time, and you're going to be happy with the results. The first coat never looks perfect, and the second coat, that's what it's for. After this coat, you're also going to give it another sanding before you move on to the next step, and that will be painting the backboard. Our second coat is done and sanded. Now we're going to add different colors to the backboard. We want to add the backboard to complement the light blue color, so I chose a light, a medium, and a dark coordinating color. I'm going to start with this one here. This is an apricot. I haven't used it in a while, so of course I'm going to stir it up. But you'll see in the next scene that I quickly regretted doing apricot and went with a much more coordinating piece. The apricot just stuck out way too much for me. We started in the middle, and we have even spacings in between. So that's how we're going to start this. You're also going to probably need an artist brush to get into little tiny crevices and along those lines that you see in the backboard. You want to make sure they're painted so they don't look so dark when you have that done. You can see that I use a synthetic brush again in a smaller size to get my paint in here. I'm going to speed you up so you can see the rest of the stripes being painted. that's it for today. So just to recap what we did today. Today we put on the base coat of a misty blue color, and then we sanded and did a second coat using your water bottle just to spread the paint. And again, I used Dixie Belle Paint, which is water-based. If you're using an acrylic or some kind of enamel, you wouldn't be mixing it with water like that. Then I went in and added accents to the back of the piece using 3 different colors, making sure that I got in the first time around, got into the colors. As you saw earlier, I did do a color that I went over again, but that's okay, because that's what you can do. And I lightly sanded that, gave it a second coat, and now we're all ready for detail in part 3. So watch out and look out for part 3, which will be detailing and some stencil as well as sealing. So thanks again for joining me. I'm Simply Made Unique by Jill, located in Venice, Florida, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye.